Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips podcast with your geeky host, Lindsay Wheeler, where we talk about everything from death, preparing for your future through estate planning, life, the occasional breakup, entrepreneurship, general nerdery, and of course travel, snowboard, and always wine. Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips with your host, Lindsay, and today we're going to talk about your graduating seniors, your babies. They're now 18-year-old babies, and what that looks like in their lifetime and what that has to do with powers of attorney. You guys have done a good job. You've gotten your kids through graduating high school. They're now probably 18 or turning 18. Congratulations, parents. Good work. However, I know that they're your babies, and they will always be your babies, but technically they're now adults. Frightening, I know. Please don't drive next to me on the road. Just kidding. So how that works is that they're now like a stranger to you, just like any other stranger. You're not able to advocate for them. You're not able to make decisions for them. You're not able to help them as you have been doing all their lifetime because you're a helicopter parent. So say, for instance, your children now go off to college. They are doing well for themselves, and they partied a little too hardy at that frat party. They fall off a roof. They're in a coma now in their hospital. Are you able to come now and make medical decisions for them? Guess what? No, you're not. Even though you're next of kin, I'm sure the hospital will probably recognize you, but in theory, you would not have the legal authority to come in there and make medical decisions for them and advocate for them in any way, right? That's a scary thought, that you're not able to take care of your children. That's your whole job. That's your whole life. You're going to always take care of your children, and at this point, you're legally not able to do so. So how we avoid that, of course, is through estate planning. Surprise! And that's through our powers of attorney documents. So those give your now adult little person in your life the ability to give you still the ability to take care of them as you always have. You usually would typically do two of those when they graduate. You will do a financial one and you'll do a medical one. So again, as they go off to college, they go and experience the world, you're able to still take care of things for them as you always have. So with that financial power of attorney, you again are able to make financial decisions for them and help them out. Say they are in a wreck. Maybe they're traveling. Maybe they're not able to take care of their bills because they're irresponsible as they are when they're 18. You're able to take that power of attorney because they've now given you the authority to take care of them and make sure that those things are advocated for them, if you will. So you can go to the bank, you can pay their bills, you can pay their rent, you can make sure that their money is going where you said they were supposed to have it go, what have you. So that's why that's important to have that one in place. Again, the more important one is that medical power of attorney to make sure that if they are in an accident, they do fall off the roof at the frat house, something happens, they get poisoned or food poisoning, super severe, that you're able to have the medical authority to come in there and make those decisions for them through that medical power of attorney. Very important documents to have. This should be, I know, the most sexy, if you will, graduating gift you give to your seniors, but it's very, very important because they're now adults. Within that packet, that graduating packet, if you will, that we offer, you have your declaration of remains. And this is a terrible one to even think about, but what if the worst of the worst happens and something happens to your now 18, 19, 20-year-old? That happens, unfortunately. What happens then? You need to have the authority then to, again, be able to handle them, to make sure that they go where they're going to go, that they are having their wishes fulfilled, and you are able to do that for them. So without that document, it might delay things or tie things up, even though you are their parents. These agencies who are taking care of your kids once they've passed away may not have the legal authority to go ahead and do that for you. So this is really an important thing to think about. It's, of course, nothing we ever want to think about that something's going to happen to our kiddos, but unfortunately, bad things do happen, and we want to make sure that they're prepared and you're prepared to continue to either take care of them and make sure that things are where they're wanting them to go, if you will. Conversely with that is that, so you're a graduating senior. Good job. You've done a good job. You're graduating, and you hate your family. This does happen. And you want nothing to do with your family. This is a very important thing to have in place so you can make sure that the people that you want advocating for you are able to do so. So, for example, you are in an accident and your next of kin are your parents and they get notified. They might come in and might bother you some more. Maybe they're making decisions that you don't want to have done for you, but you're unable to do that for yourself because you have nothing in place. So for you as a graduating person or an 18-year-old now adult, you're able to dictate who you want to have advocate for you, whether that's a friend, maybe it's a different relative, maybe it's a a partner or whatever it is. Very important to have these in place so those things are able to be advocated for you accordingly and legally. So today's wine talk, we have the Frank family Vineyards. They're not my favorite. Apparently the old man Frank was kind of a misogynistic weirdo and kind of liked to touchy-feely the ladies. That's just conjecture, I don't know, but that is what I've heard through the grapevine, no pun intended. Haha. This is a 2019 Carneros Chardonnay. Actually, this is really nice wine, so I'm sure they don't have old man Frank running around doing stuff anymore. And it's a company and it's a corporation, so don't boycott them, but just so you know. Again, the internet's full of rumors, so I don't really know that this is true. I may have heard it from some people who might have personal experience with that, but I'm not positive on that. So please don't sue me for defamation because I really don't know. That's more of an opinion. Now you're an 18-year-old adult. Congratulations, you've made it out of your parents' house and you can party like you want to. I think the Beastie Boys had a song about this. They fought for your right. And why is it important now for you as an 18-year-old to have an estate plan? You're going to be like, I'm 18, bro, I don't have anything. Well, you will have things, and you probably do. Maybe you're working, you have a car, you have a bank account, you have maybe starting your investments or 401ks through your work, and you will start gaining or building up these assets. So having an estate plan is super important for you in making sure that that flows with your life. And again, having those powers of attorney in place. So say you're that kid who is at that frat party and falls off that roof, what happens now? If you don't have a power of attorney in place, your parents or your advocate, usually your parents, aren't going to be able, God, I can't even say that, aren't going to be able to come and help you take care of your life, right? They're not going to be paying your rent or whatever it is. They're not paying your car payment. They're not going to be able to make medical decisions for you, right? What if you have to go into surgery? What if you're in a coma for a certain amount of time? What do you want done for yourself? So these things are very important to have in place. I know it's something that we don't want to think about as we turn 18. We want to, be free and have these things going for us, but very important to have these things in place to just make sure that you're protected and your wishes are actually honored. So if you have questions on getting that set up or want to do a college package, we offer those because we want to make sure that your children are taken care of and protected. And again, it's not the most sexy graduation gift, but in the long run, it's good for you and it's good for your kids, so you want to keep taking care of your babies. So if you want to know how to get that done, let me know. And of course, when you think of death, think of me. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you found value, please like, subscribe, and share. And be sure to follow me on all the socials at Sips and Tips with Lindsay. And of course, you can always go to my website, sipsandtipswithlindsay.com, to find more information about estate planning, business, snowboard, travel, and of course, wine. As always, we have to get the legal stuff out of the way. I went to law school, so you don't have to. However, we have to read the special disclaimer that I am not a practicing attorney. I am not your attorney. I am not offering any legal advice in any content or any episode. All content is for your information and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for seeking your own legal advice from your own attorney or other professionals such as a CPA or financial advisor. I cannot give legal advice and do not offer any legal services or legal advice, but I do offer some fun and educational content for you to enjoy.